Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's up? My name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. As you can see by the title, today I'm going to be doing my top 3 favorite products from every makeup category. Drugstore edition. I will do a high-end edition. I just feel like these videos are going to be very long if I don't kind of separate them. Today we're going to be doing part 1, which is going to be complexion products, which is like primer, foundation, concealer, everything you put on the face except the eyes and the lips. So that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and if you do, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. By the way, this outfit completely unplanned, but my Minim LA hoodie that I bought from Laura Lee's boutique just came in the mail, so I was like, why not? So cozy and I love it. So let's get into it. I'm gonna try to go fairly quickly just because we do have so much to talk about, and I know you guys don't like these long form content anymore. Let me know if you guys still like long videos, but I'll keep it like at a normal, I think, 20-minute vibes. So let's just get right into it. I think I'm gonna do it like in order that I would apply it. So let's talk about primer. So let me be real with you guys. I don't use a lot of primer. There's not like holy grail primers that I have in the drugstore category, but I'll talk about some that I think are really good, and if I were to recommend 3 products for you guys, these would be it. So first we have the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Obviously at this point I feel like everybody knows what it is, but if you don't know, this is a gripping primer. The reason why I think a gripping primer is great for this video is because I think this is good for really anyone. It's going to be like a gel-like consistency that you put on your skin, and it's going to get a little bit tacky, and your makeup is just going to grip on, and it's obviously going to help make your makeup last longer. So I feel like whether you have normal to dry skin, oily texture, like whatever it is, if you're just looking for a primer that's going to make your foundation and all the makeup on top last longer, then get yourself a gripping primer. This is probably my favorite from the drugstore, and it's obviously very inexpensive and it works really well. And after that, really, again, the only time I use primer is just to illuminate and hydrate my skin. So I have 2 that are very similar, but it just depends on your price range and what you're looking for. So first, let's talk about this one. Oh my god, I just realized mine exploded. Okay, so this is the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector. This is a 4-in-1 Perfector, so you can use it as your base makeup, but you can also use it as an illuminating primer. So I think that this is obviously a really nice one from the drugstore. There's a lot of high-end ones, kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury. This is a really good one. And then the third primer I want to talk to you guys about is fairly new, but I think the hype is real, and it is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. They're very similar, but I think that if you just want to use it for primer or for like a glowy, lightweight, light coverage look, use the Maybelline one. But if you want a little bit more coverage, use the e.l.f. one. I personally can get away with using this as my foundation as long as I conceal with a regular concealer, but they're both really beautiful. One does come in a little sponge applicator, the other one has a doe foot applicator, but these are just like the 3 that I would kind of reach for the most, so just to either make my makeup last longer or to have a beautiful glowy base. Okay, so for foundation, this is a foundation that I actually recommend 99% of the time. It's so good. I'm gonna try not to speak about it for like 20 minutes, but it is this one. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I have the shade 486, and it is the foundation that I'm wearing today, and it's just flawless. Like when you're talking about a flawless, long-wearing, beautiful, not heavy foundation from the drugstore, this is it. So what I look for in a good foundation is actually a very liquidy formula, but with a lot of pigment. I just hate having heaviness on my skin, but obviously I do like to go for a very flawless base, and this is it. It's not dewy, but it's not super matte. It's like a nice satin, I guess, and it just lasts all day long. It really just blurs all the imperfections. Again, it doesn't get heavy because it's so liquidy, and it lasts all day long, And I just feel like this would work for a lot of different skin types because it is that middle range of finish. Again, not too dewy, not too matte. So this, if you guys haven't tried this, like, don't keep waiting, try it. Okay, so I'll be honest, I don't wear full coverage every single day. Honestly, I rarely do unless it's like a special occasion. So I like to look for something that's more medium coverage, more hydrating, but never like too dewy. I just don't like greasiness. So this is great. This is worth the hype. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Serum. So this is a tinted serum, so it's going to be very liquidy. What I like about this is because it has 1% hyaluronic acid, it's hydrating and it's going to keep the hydration all day long, but the finish of it is just like a natural finish. Again, not super dewy. I just don't love that look on me personally, and you can just let it be by itself or you can set it with a powder and it looks amazing. It honestly has more coverage than you would think. I would say this is more of a light to medium instead of just light. Like, to me, this can definitely work as a foundation. This is just such a beautiful, just a really nice everyday, and it has hyaluronic acid. I love skincare and makeup, love it. Okay, and the last foundation I'm gonna talk about is actually a powder foundation. So this is my favorite powder foundation I think that I've tried ever, and it's from e.l.f. and it's so affordable. This is the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I have the shade 330W, and this is what it looks like. I'm literally about to hit pan. It is very rare for me to hit pan on anything because I do have so much makeup, but it does come in a nice compact with a mirror. If you're looking for a very light coverage foundation, maybe use this with a very light hand, but if you really pack it on, this is gonna be like a good medium to full coverage. You know, like when you start losing a little bit of coverage, this is great because not only can you powder, but you add that coverage back. I love wearing this when I go to like the airport. When I want to wear makeup to the airport, I like wearing this because it's so lightweight. And then I actually wear this almost every day when I want a little bit of makeup, but not too much, you know? So I'll literally grab this with like a brush, like fluffy like this, and I'll just do a light dust. And not only will it make my face match the tan on my neck, but it will also just give me some light coverage. So I think this is very versatile. They have a lot of different shades and it's very affordable. If you guys haven't tried this, you truly are missing out. Okay, moving on to concealer. So, I'm always dropping things, man. I'm gonna count these as just one. It is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer as well as the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. Honestly, the whole e.l.f. Camo line is just chef's kiss, but I still think these are some of the best and the holy grails of the drugstore. Obviously, we have the regular camo that's going to be more of like a semi-matte finish. It is a little bit more drying, but it does have fuller coverage. And the hydrating one has a little bit less coverage, but is more hydrating. If you mix these, they're great. I like this more for like an everyday, and then I like the regular camo for just a lot of coverage. The reason why this one is so dark is because I use it as cream bronzer sometimes because it just blends really well. You know how I said if you mix those two concealers, they would be perfect? There is a concealer that is like the perfect in between, but they don't sell it in stores anymore, which makes me kind of sad, but they still sell it online. So this is really nice. This is the Catrice True Skin High Coverage Concealer with Hyaluronic Acid Waterproof. This to me is literally like the two e.l.f. concealers combined. It is medium to full coverage. It is hydrating because it has that hyaluronic acid, but it dries more to like a satin finish. So I think it would work well with like oily or dry skin, and it just looks fantastic. Catrice is not being sold at Ulta anymore, which sucks, but you can purchase these on like Catrice website and maybe Amazon. So depending where I find it at a better price, I can put it down below, but this is just a great overall concealer. You really can't go wrong. Okay, and the last concealer I feel like is, I don't know, I think it's underrated. It is this one. So this is the Flower Beauty. I believe it's, yeah, the Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. I have the shade Medium Honey, and it's actually what I'm wearing today. So this is just really nice. It is going to be more hydrating, but it's not greasy. If you guys haven't gotten anything out of this video, is I don't like greasy makeup. I just don't. This is really nice because it's a very, very like thin formula, but it does have that medium to full coverage, and I just think it looks flawless under the eyes. Maybe it's not as hydrating as the e.l.f. one, but it looks more flawless because of it. So, you know, you kind of have to pick and choose sometimes, but this is just a really great concealer. And again, if you have more normal to dry skin and you want full coverage and only like a thin layer of makeup, this is great. This is really good. Moving on to setting powder, I'm not gonna lie, I've been really on a high-end powder kick, but I still have some affordable ones that I really like. So starting off with very affordable makeup, SheGlam. So SheGlam is the beauty brand from Shein. You guys have heard me talk about this forever, but I still think it's a really great powder. So this is the SheGlam Insta Ready Face and Under Eye Setting Powder Duo. It's really cool because it does come with a pressed powder, which I've already hit pan on, and obviously a mirror, and then it does have a loose powder. I think this is great. If you're into those powders that are very like thin HD, like those very thin powders, does that make sense? This is a really great one. I prefer the pressed version for under the eyes, and I like to set my under eyes with a puff. Every single powder that I use under my eyes, I use a puff. It's like a religious thing now. But this obviously the loose version is really good to set the rest of your face or to bake, but this is just a really good one. I think if you have more normal to dry skin, especially under eyes, I think you'll really like this. I'm not forgetting about oily skin. This is such a great powder, even if you don't have oily skin. And it is this, it is broken, it is faded, but it is still going strong, and it has hit pan. So this is the NYX Professional Makeup Can't Stop Won't Stop powder in the shade medium. I will say medium is a little dark for under my eyes, especially if I'm using a lighter concealer. They do have a translucent version if you want to go the safe route. I mainly use this for my face, but it still works really well for under the eyes. So if you have drier under eyes, don't use this for under your eyes. If you have a more oily under eyes, use this. I love using it for finishing my makeup and blurring all the pores. I use it all the time, and I have to say, I do have a lot of high-end powders, but this to me competes with a high-end powder. I don't see this as like my cheap version of a powder. This is so good. So this is going to mattify the skin, but it's going to blur all the pores, all the imperfections, and it lasts a really long time. And moving back to more normal to dry skin, just because that's what I have, this powder, again, I think it's very underrated. This is the Morphe Bake and Set Setting Powder. I have the shade Translucent, and it is just a regular loose powder. This is the only powder that I can like bake with that won't dry out my skin. So obviously, if you do have more oily skin and you really want to bake the living crap out of your face, this might not be the one for you. But if you have normal to dry skin and you tend to stay away from baking because it does truly dry out the skin, this is a really good one. None of these flash back, by the way, but there's just a nice powder that doesn't flash back, that doesn't dry out the skin, but gives you the effect of baking and flawlessness. So definitely try this out. And if you're obsessed with like the pink powders, they do have a pink powder. I think we're gonna have to move on to bronzers. Let's start out with an oldie but a goodie. This is, I think, just such a stunning luminous bronzer. So this is the Essence Sun Club Luminous Bronzing Powder. This is the 20 Sunkissed in California shade. It is broken, but it is a huge pan and you get a lot of bang for your buck. I do look pretty glowy already, but let me just apply some. The reason why I like this is because I love an all over glowy look, as most of you guys know. I don't like emphasizing texture. I don't like looking super shimmery, and this is the kind of bronzer that gives me the glowy goodness without doing that. And I think the reason why is because there's no actual like sparkles to it. It's just a luminous bronzer. It's not shimmery. I love it. I think this is stunning and it's super affordable. Okay, so moving on to something fairly new that has taken my heart by storm. It is this. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. This is great. Great. I use the shade 400 Tan. Such a beautiful color. If you're just looking for a pigmented, buttery soft, blendable, ultra matte but not drying powder bronzer, this is it. It is so nice. It is very pigmented, but it is so blendable. This to me is just like the perfect matte bronzer at the drugstore, and they do have a lot of shades and it's perfect. That's all there is to it. It's just a matte bronzer, but it's pigmented, blendable, and it just looks amazing. So the last bronzer, I never hear anyone talk about this, and I think this is such an underrated product because it gives everything it needs to give, and it is ginormous. So this is the Undone Beauty Warm Up Bronzer. They have a couple of these. I'm going to show you guys a different one in a later category, but this is nice. I sounded like that TikTok. This is nice. So this is the shade 550. Now the cool thing about this is that it is a palette with a cool tone dark like contour shade, a nice bronzer shade, a rose gold highlight, and a gold highlight. This is like everything you need. Let me just tell you guys about these bronzers. Like, pretend this isn't even a face palette. These bronzers, I have no idea what the heck the formula is, but it reminds me of the Becca bronzers. Do you guys remember those Becca bronzers that just feel, I don't know, like just like silky? Like, do we see this? And it's like the perfect satin finish. I actually mixed both and put them on my face today. I like this because it is super functional, the formula is beautiful, and I think the palette is big enough to where I actually just put on this bronzer without getting any highlight on my brush, and it just looks so pretty. Like, this is just such a nice product. I know Undone Beauty is a little bit more expensive than other drugstore brands, but it's worth the money in my opinion. Moving on to just my go-to, oh my gosh, this blush has a chokehold on me. And it's dirty, sorry guys. This is the Revlon powder blush. The shade that I like is Marvelous. I don't only love the shade, this is just like my everyday blush, but I love the formula. I like the packaging. You get a lot of product. This is gonna be a matte formula, but it doesn't look chalky, and it literally goes with like everything. This is just my favorite. It's such a nice formula. It's like the perfect amount of pigment. Like, you can do a light wash or you can be super heavy-handed like me, but it never looks chalky, it never looks bad. It's nice and matte. This is just my favorite everyday holy grail blush. Again, specifically in Marvelous, but they do have a lot of different shades, and I just feel like nobody talks about these blushes, and they're so nice. They're great. And then my other two favorite blushes are cream blushes. So listen, I mean, I hate to be that girl that's like, I liked it before it was cool, but if you watch my channel, you knew I liked this before it was cool. I have loved this for 1,000 years. So this is the Pixie on the Glow blush. It is interesting. It looks like a little deodorant, but it's amazing. I don't apply it on the skin like everybody else does. I just like to grab my brush and just like grab it from there and apply it. The reason why I like this is because it lasts. So not only is it a hydrating but not greasy formula, but it's very pigmented. A little bit goes such a long way. I have been using this for a while now, and it lasts. It just lasts. Literally, you can layer this over powder, everything. Anything and everything, this will always look good and it'll always last. And my last favorite blush is something that really just surprised me of how much I love it, but I can't go anywhere without this. This is the e.l.f. Putty Blush, the Luminous version. I do like the e.l.f. regular putty blushes. For a while, it's the only thing that I was using, but this is where it's at now. So I'm holding two because I still can't pick which shade is my favorite. They're both my favorites. This is Barbados and St. Bart's. So I like to use this with creams or powders. Right now, I'm already powdered, but this will still look good. I like to use this at the end of my makeup routine, not only to like really solidify my blush so it doesn't go anywhere, but it adds that extra like shimmer. It is shimmery, but because I only apply like right here, I don't mind that it does have shimmer, because also I end up skipping out on the highlight, which I appreciate. I just don't love a lot of highlight anymore, and this is definitely one of those products that adds both, and so you skip a step, and this also lasts really, really long. I mean, you don't need all these, but like, you will love whichever one you decide to buy. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. I mean, you guys already know I don't love using highlight. You guys already know this, so I don't really use highlight anymore. But if I do, I still use the same one that I've used for years because it's the only one that I like. And yes, it's still broken. I should probably get a new one, but it is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I have the Sunlighter. They do have a regular highlighter that's a little bit lighter. This is just the only true highlighter that I like to use. It is just perfect. It is medium tone, so if you do have like my skin tone or a little bit darker, it doesn't add so much like of highlight. It just adds like a little bit of glow. It is more of a press. It is, I believe this is a baked formula, so you don't get that much product on your brush, which again I love, and so I just put that all over my face. I'm wearing a different highlight right now, but this is just the GOAT. This is the GOAT for the girlies and the boilies that just want to glow from within. You could of course build this up and make it more blinding, but this is just the best in my opinion. And I can't really think of any other like just singular highlights that I love, because I just don't. But I did want to just give a quick shout out again to this. I'm showing you guys a different version of it. This is more of a blush version. They have really, really beautiful blinding highlights. So this one is called Sunset Bronzer 551. This one is Warm Bronzer 550. So this one has the two bronzers and the two highlights. This one has a shimmery blush, a satin blush, and two highlights. So I figured I would just put these in the highlight version. But if you're looking for very, 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 I said very a bunch of times because I didn't know what word I was gonna say next. Oh yeah, blinding highlights. These are really nice. Again, I am wearing this gold one right here, and so I just love traveling with this palette because it gives everything. But they also have a blush version. Alrighty guys, and the last category we have for this part one of the video is setting spray. So my holy grail setting spray is this one. This is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Micro Setting Mist. This is not going to make your skin dewy or matte. It's just going to set your face beautifully with such a fine mist, and it's just going to make your makeup wear all freaking day and all night. Like, this is the only thing that I use, to be honest. This is how much I have left. So, and this is like not my first bottle. It's like my 5th bottle. Very affordable. Again, super like fine mist, and doesn't have much of a scent. It's just like a fresh scent, and it just makes your makeup last all freaking day. It's not drying, it's not hydrating, it just is a setting mist. It is great. If you are looking for something that's hydrating, a little bit dewy if you will, I've been really enjoying this. Now this is the CoverGirl, it's called the Priming Glow Mist. So if you're into like primer waters, you might like this. I use this not as a setting spray, but like a fixing spray. Like, I'll just use this to make my skin glowy again. Should we use it? Why not? This doesn't have the mist that the other one does. It is a little bit more heavy-handed, as you can see. But this just adds hydration. I just got all my hair wet. I shouldn't have done that. But I really like this because if my skin is feeling dry, this is what I like to do. If you want to refresh your makeup, give it that life back, this is also good. And I also like this when I'm using powder foundations, because once you're done with your powder foundation, it's a freaking powder. So I like to use this to kind of bring the life back into the skin. So this is a really good one. The last setting spray I want to talk about, I kind of want to talk about like a 3-for-1. Pretty much just the Milani setting sprays. The regular setting spray is very similar to this one. It just makes your makeup last for a very long time. They also have a dewy one, which is really nice. It's kind of like this one. It's going to make your skin nice and dewy. And I also really like, I don't have them on me right now. I think I ran out of them. But I also really like the Milani SPF 30. That's a really good way to just kind of reapply a little bit of SPF throughout the day. again, refreshing your makeup, but applying SPF at the same time. So really just the Milani setting spray lines to me are really, really nice. So that is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will go ahead and put part 2. Again, for part 2, I will be talking more about eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, everything else on the eyes, the brows, as well as the lips. But yeah, I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Again, I will list everything by categories down below if you guys are interested. Let me know if we have similar favorites in every category. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.